Hey, it's Chung Tang here, and I want to shoot a quick video on how to finish the last quarter of the year stronger than your last three quarters. So right now we're at a point where most people are either planning for the new year or trying to finish the year strong, or they've written off this year already and they're just waiting for the next year to come so they have a fresh start. But what I've realized is there's a pattern that people get into, that we get into, and that is we wait until the new year comes and then we set these big goals that pump us up, that get us really excited. But then when it actually comes, when we actually get back into the business and back into the grind and the day-to-day chaos, those big goals take second, third, fourth priority to all the other urgent but not important things, or less important than the goals that we've set. And so some of the mistakes that people make that I've realized is you set goals that are just way too broad and they don't give you a concrete picture of what you need to do. So for example, let's say you get a customer complaint, right? And a customer writes in, you know exactly what you need to do because it's very concrete and it's urgent for you. But when you set a goal of, like, let's say I want to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, or I want to grow my income by 20%, like, where do you even begin, right? Most people set big goals like that, or they say, I want to increase my business this year. Like, what does that even mean? That doesn't help you nail down specifically what you need to be doing today and the next 7 days in order to start moving towards that goal. And so that's where that's where the work really comes in, is you got to actually break down your big, broad, generic, fluffy goal, which makes you feel good, right? Into something that's very tangible, that's very specific, that you can act on today. And so what I would recommend is setting your 12-month goal and then looking at, okay, if that's where I want to be 12 months from now, then where do I need to be 30 days from today in order to be on track with that 12-month goal? So then you get clear on what that 30-day milestone looks like. And once you set the 30-day milestone, you want to break that down into, all right, what are 3 committed tasks, or CTs, that I can complete this week in the next 7 days to be on track with my 30-day goal. So, and the goal, really, your objective is to, like, your 12-month goal, your 30-day milestone aren't 100% in your control. But your weekly goals are 100% in your control. So your weekly goals could be things like reaching out to people, could be running advertising campaigns. If you're trying to lose weight, it could be to only eat 2 meals a day, or to work out for 20 minutes a day. These are actions that you can control. They're 100% in your control to complete. So I would suggest setting goals based on actions that are 100% in your control that you can complete. The second thing is, people set these goals, right? So let's just say you figure out what you need to do, and you know what your 3 CTs, or your 3 committed tasks, are for the week. But some people know what they need to do, but they still don't do it. So why is that? And the reason is because we're humans and we're all afraid of being rejected. Like, we try to avoid looking bad. And if we do something that's way outside of our comfort zone, that is outside of the norm of what we're used to doing, then what's the worst that could happen? Well, in our mind, we think that if we go and do this thing and we don't succeed, that's going to make us look bad. We're going to feel bad internally. What are other people going to think about us? But what the shift that you want to make is, instead of worrying about trying to avoid looking bad, worry more about achieving your goal. So when you have 2 spectrums, right? You have here is you wanting to achieve your goal, and then here is you trying to avoid looking bad. And every day when you wake up, you're either here or you're here, or maybe you're in the middle. But if you're not closer to, if you're not more worried and focused on achieving your goal, and you're more worried about trying to avoid looking bad, then you're never gonna take the action. You're never gonna apply and do the things that you know you need to do. And that's why a lot of people know what they need to do. You know, they've heard it before, they listen to podcasts, they watch videos, they read blog posts, they buy online courses, they spend thousands of dollars, you know, learning what to do, learning how to do it. But when it actually comes down to doing it, they don't, or they don't do it consistently enough. And every time you don't do something, just think, am I more worried about achieving my goal, or am I more worried about trying to avoid not looking bad? Or am I more worried about trying to look good? Because if you're more worried about trying to look good, then obviously that's the complete opposite to you achieving your goal. But if you can find something where you can, you know, look good and help you achieve your goal, that would be great. But really, you want to focus on worrying about achieving your goal instead of trying to avoid looking bad. And here's the thing, you know, a lesson that we can really take from kids, from babies, is that kids, when they are first born, like, they can't walk, right? But what if they're like, what if they set a goal like, okay, I want to walk 10 steps a day, and then they don't walk the 10 steps because they're so afraid of what other babies are going to think, or they're so afraid of what their mom and dad are going to think of them if they fall. So if their goal is 10 steps a day, but they're worried about what other people are going to think of them, and then as a result, they don't actually, you know, take the 10 steps, then babies will never figure out how to walk, and will never figure out how to walk. So, but instead they don't. They just walk. They walk. They don't worry so much about trying to avoid looking bad. And so that's just a simple example of how you can focus on achieving your goals. The other thing is, you know, what if you already know what to do, you're doing it, but you're still not hitting your goals? Well, I can almost bet that you aren't giving yourself the time to reflect. So for example, most companies, they do 12-month reviews, 6-month reviews, quarterly reviews, right? And then that's it. But can you imagine you doing something and then you having to wait 90 days to get feedback on whether the thing you're doing is working or not? Like, that's too long. And even a month is too long. What you need to be focused on, like, once you get really clear on your 12-month goal and what your 1-month milestone looks like, you need to focus on what you're doing today, what you're doing tomorrow, and then what you're trying to accomplish this week. And so at the end, something that I do for myself is, at the end of each day, I check in with myself. Because by checking in, the reason you want to check in with yourself is because when you're working, you are in the day-to-day, you're in the grind, and you have your head down, like going 100 miles an hour, trying to put out fires, trying to solve client problems, trying to do this and this and this. And when you can do that for months out and then not take your head up and not reflect to see if you're still on the right track. And the right track are actually implementing and applying the things that you need to do to move towards the goals that you set at the beginning of the year. And so by having that daily check-in with yourself, you take yourself from the runway level all the way up to, you know, the 10,000 foot level. And you get to see, all right, am I actually on track with what I said I was going to do? So for me, you know, I'll send an email to myself, and basically it says, here's what I did. Today I did X. And then in brackets, I have, my goal is to be X. My goal is to be X by the end of the week. So that way I can see, here's what I did today, and then here's how I'm measuring up based on the goals that I've set for myself for the end of the week. And so I do 3 of those things every single day. And does that take discipline? At first, yes. But everything that takes discipline eventually becomes a habit. And so you just keep doing this. And if you need to hire a coach, if you need to hire a mentor to help you stay accountable to this, then do it. But don't think that you're going to try and solve this yourself, because if you think that you can, continue to go down the path and get a different result, then isn't that the definition of insanity? Like doing the same thing over again, expecting a different result. And so if you're stuck on reaching your goals, if your business isn't growing as fast as you can, and you set all these big goals in the past, but you've not achieved them, or you just can't, get the results that you want, then one of the things is just doing a regular everyday check-in is really valuable. And then at the end of the week, I also do a check-in. I look at, all right, my goals this week were to do X, Y, and Z. Did I achieve X, Y, and Z? And remember, X, Y, and Z aren't outcome-based goals. And outcome-based goals are goals that you don't have 100% control. So like you can't make it happen, really. I mean, as much as, people say make it happen, you really can't actually force the outcome to happen. But X, Y, and Z goals are essentially goals that you have 100% control to complete. And if you don't, that's really on you. And so the main thing is, if you want to achieve the goals that you want to achieve, you need to give yourself a shorter feedback loop. And the best way to do that is on a daily basis and on a weekly basis. Because when you do that, then you can see if you're on track. If you're on track each day, then you're going to be on track each week. If you're on track 4 weeks in a month, then you're going to be on track that month. If you're on track for 12 months, then you're going to be on track to hitting your goal. But it starts, yes, at the big, audacious, excited goal that you set. But then we got to bring that all the way back down to the runway where you can see clearly exactly what you need to get done today and this week to make progress. So what I want to know is, what are your 3 committed tasks for the next 7 days? And share your response in the comment. And if you're watching this from anywhere other than YouTube, other than my blog, then head over to morecustomersonline.ca and you'll find more videos like this. Talk to you soon.